These asteroids have real killer potential. 3 asteroids are hurtling through space and could come dangerously close to Earth. If you want to learn more about these scary celestial bodies, then be sure to stay tuned until the end, and if you like it, I would be thrilled to receive a thumbs up and a comment so that the video will be shown to even more people. Welcome, friends. These 3 asteroids are truly frightening. They have the potential to change our world forever. But before we give you the creeps, let's start with a bit of theory, because we have to ask ourselves who decides what can and cannot become dangerous for the Earth. NASA has developed a sophisticated monitoring system that provides researchers with an incredible amount of data every day. This system is called Sentry, which translates as guard post, and Sentry collects data around the clock on near-Earth objects in space, and then calculates a possible trajectory for the objects and can then predict whether there could be a collision with Earth in the next century. At the same time, planetary defense strategies are continuously being developed so that action can be taken in the event of an emergency. The monitoring system has been in operation since 2002 and keeps a close eye on so-called Earth crossers. The researchers look at the size of the objects, their speed, brightness, and much more. By the way, these are not only asteroids, but also space debris or comets. All these objects are recorded in the so-called Sentry risk table, and now hold on to your seats. A whopping 1,451 near-Earth objects are listed on this table, including data on the impact risk. But don't worry, folks, that doesn't mean that all these objects are actually heading for Earth and could destroy it.
Great, and when are you going to get to the scary bits? Right now?
NASA has identified asteroids that could actually be potential world destroyers. A bit like the Empire's Death Star, not as high-tech, but just as intimidating, because just like the Death Star, these asteroids can destroy worlds. Let's take a look at which asteroids we're talking about and whether they could really be a threat to our planet. The Palermo scale is also important in this context, not because it rains so many Arancini asteroids there, but because it was in Palermo in 1801 that the Italian astronomer Giuseppe Piazzi first sighted an asteroid scientifically. The value on this scale determines how dangerous an asteroid can be. Researchers calculate a value based on the impact risk, the destruction potential, and the time remaining until a possible impact. Normally, this value is in the negative range, which is good for us, as the impact risk remains low. In fact, there are hardly any asteroids that ever slip into the positive range.
Which is something I know very well from my bank account.
But now let's get down to our killer asteroids. Let's start with the third most dangerous one. This is asteroid 2000 SG344. This asteroid is 37 meters in diameter, which is twice the size of the asteroid that caused devastation in the Russian city of Chelyabinsk almost 10 years ago. As a reminder, in 2013 the asteroid hit Russia, causing walls to collapse, windows to break, and almost 1,500 people to be injured with its shockwave. It would be similar or even more devastating if this asteroid were to hit the Earth. On the Palermo scale, it has a value of 2.84, which makes a collision very unlikely. Nevertheless, researchers say that a possible impact could occur between 2069 and 2113. In this case, it can only be hoped that the asteroid will come down in uninhabited areas or in the sea, because the impact energy released will be an estimated 1.0 megatons of TNT. The result would be an impact crater 30 meters wide. Let's see what happens if I direct this asteroid towards the Earth, say towards Germany. Here you can see the second-placed asteroid on the Palermo scale. This asteroid is called 101955 Bennu and is around 490 meters in size. Between the years 2175 and 2199, around 78 impacts could theoretically be possible, but the Palermo scale value is only 1.69, which corresponds to a probability of 0.037% of an impact. The most likely impact date, by the way, is September 24th, 2182, so don't plan anything too important for that day, folks. Bennu is named after the Egyptian god of the dead, just to spread a little creepy atmosphere again. And speaking of which, now it's getting really scary. You are looking at one of the most dangerous world destroyers of all time and the leader of the Palermo scale. Let's just stick with 1950 DA. This asteroid crosses our orbit and is only a measly 2 kilometers in size. Despite its small size, researchers have assessed it as so dangerous that it has had a positive value on the Palermo scale for a long time. Its current value is 1.42, which does not mean that we do not have to worry. The probability of an impact is still 0.02%. Calculations of the trajectory show that the asteroid could hit the Atlantic Ocean. The probability of celestial objects simply crashing into the water is of course particularly high, since 70% of our planet's surface is covered by water. Nevertheless, an impact of this 2-kilometer chunk would not be a mere splash. Asteroids of this size could not wipe out humanity, but they could destroy entire continents through tsunamis and change the climatic conditions on Earth with unforeseeable consequences. What exactly happens depends on various factors, such as speed, angle of entry, and so on. In the past, the Earth has already suffered a number of such impacts. One of the best-known events was the Reys Impact. 15 million years ago, a 1.5-kilometer wide asteroid hit southern Germany at a speed of 20 kilometers per second, leaving behind a 24-kilometer wide crater, the Nördlinger Reis. The impact caused an earthquake measuring 8 on the Richter scale, and an area of around 5,000 square kilometers was buried meters deep under hot earth and debris. If a city had been located at this point, no one would have been able to survive the impact, and anyone who had managed to escape the rain of debris would probably have simply been burnt to death by the thermal radiation emitted by the meteorite. And then there is the atmospheric shock wave, which would have wiped out all life within a radius of 100 kilometers due to its enormous force and caused destruction such as fallen trees or landslides in a radius of several hundred kilometers. Even on the other side of the Earth, the impact would have been audible. A few days ago, a loyal fan gave me the stone from the Nördlinger Reis, a so-called Swabian stone and a real witness to apocalyptic devastation. I almost enjoy stones as much as I enjoy cookies. It doesn't taste good. The asteroids we discussed today are probably not large enough to destroy the Earth. By way of comparison, the asteroid that led to the extinction of the dinosaurs was probably between 10 and 15 kilometers in diameter, but they are still large enough that an impact could have devastating effects. Pressure waves, heat waves, clouding of the atmosphere by aerosols and a subsequent cooling of the Earth, acid rain, crop failures. If it hit the Atlantic, a mega tsunami would be created with waves of around 100 meters high. Coastal cities in the hinterland would be lost. But these asteroids are by no means as deadly as other asteroids in the history of the Earth. And above all, we don't have to worry about it today, because if there is ever an impact, it will be in the distant future. And by the way, if you're wondering where the supposed killer asteroid Apophis is in this list, it's now been confirmed that it won't hit the Earth for at least the next 100 years. So it's been removed from the Palermo list, but since we wanted to give you the creeps and we still want a mega impact, I've let a giant pumpkin crash into the Earth for you. I gave this pumpkin a mass of 20% of the Earth. Imagine what it would look like in the night sky if such a galactic monster pumpkin were to approach the Earth. Of course, we still need a name for our monster pumpkin. Write your best suggestions in the comments. I will choose one of your suggestions as the name for the pumpkin, I promise. So folks, we can breathe a sigh of relief. The end of the world is not imminent due to these asteroids. If you haven't had enough of a scare yet, then I have something else for you. In our search for creepy aliens, we may have been looking for the wrong signs. A researcher now says that we have to look for stellar megastructures, so-called Dyson spheres. Be sure to click on the video to find out all about this exciting alien idea, and if you want to support my work, please feel free to browse through the Weltram shop. Every purchase helps me to continue my work. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, friends.